Do all of these runways lead into the ocean? Like in Goa?
No, please, let me complete. Don't interrupt, please, for heaven's sake. Now, supposing a pilot is making an approach on Papi. Papi is available in the beginning of the approach. Somewhere in between, the Papi packs up. What is it supposed to do? Go around and divert to some other airfield? I'm sorry, that doesn't happen in real life. This is something which is unimaginable. If the flights were to divert or these kind of conditions, then there will be no flight running into Goa for a long time.
Okay, now if I take your argument, now let me tell you, I'm not a pilot here, but I'll pick up a precedent. No, I'm not a pilot here, but I'll pick up a precedent. And my precedent is this question goes to Kapil Kak. I remember, and I'm sure you do, Marshal Kak, November 2009 in Mumbai, Kingfisher flight, IT 4124 from Bhavnagar landed, was moving towards the taxiway, had to vacate the runway. Preliminary reports said the pilot could not control the aircraft's speed while vacating the runway, and as repairs were on, only a shortened runway. Exactly the situation is Goa. Only a shortened runway, roughly half the usual length, was available for operations. Officials said the short length left no margin for error, yet this incident happened. This happened right before our eyes in November 2009. I'm asking you tonight, what guarantee will a passenger get that we are not allowing a repeat? Go ahead.
This is a factually wrong statement, and I just want to correct you. You rightly said you're not a pilot. The fact is, as I said earlier, today, while we are talking here on this panel, 9,000 feet of runway is available at Goa. This is adequate for all the jets of both public sector and the private sector which operate here. So this is not a question of the comparison with what you gave as 2009 4124. That was a question, the entirely different range of question. Second point is, I think Captain Datta is absolutely right. On the one hand, what is mandatory? If there is something which is mandatory and you violate that, you must take the strictest action. But PAPI is not mandatory. I mean, please, for God's sake, Indian Navy is operating that airport. Please give them that wisdom that they would stop operations if they felt these were dangerous flights. Sir, no such thing has happened. The air traffic control is operated by the Navy. Navy is equally responsible to ensure that the infrastructure at Goa is safe and consistent with the requirements of safety of airlines carrying very, very precious cargo. That is you and me, the passengers.
1 minute. 1 minute. Is it true or not? And one doesn't need to be a pilot for this, but is it true or not the DGCA puts PAPI, which is these in Annexure 3, on the list of minimum facilities for the safety of aircraft operations? Is it true or not that this bars jets? Navy doesn't use a Boeing 737 or an Airbus 350, which is used by airlines to fly passengers from metro cities to Goa, from landing at airports that do not have a functional PAPI. Tonight, my question is only about the rules. You can work around the rules. A lot of things happen around the rules, but airlines, planes full of passengers landing in this situation, you cannot. Isn't this flouting the rules, Marshal Kak? I'm quoting the rules.
It may be good. It might be worthwhile for you to have a look at. You quoted Annexure 3. Kindly have a look at Annexure 14. You look at the glide path requirements. I think the debate is unfortunately shifting towards a direction where this very, very distinguished panel is getting drifted off. PAPI is not mandatory. You've been told by a very experienced pilot that there are a large number of airfields in India where all these civil aircraft operate. The PAPI is not available.
Then
the question is, in the situation in Goa, whether it's off-sea or on-sea, that's not material. 9,000 feet of runway is available. 9,000 feet of runway is more than
safe. No, but then if that is the case, if that is the case,
flying the type of
if that is the case,
this is my fundamental point. Safety has not been compromised. Safety has not been compromised. Yes, the question is, have you adhered clerically to a stipulation? Incidentally, the notam was not issued by the Director General of Civil Aviation. It was first issued by the Navy.
Okay, Marshal Kak,
and it was the Navy which took a meeting not on 25th but on 24th of March.
Let me assume that you are right and I am wrong. and that I am only interpreting the rules clerically, as you say, in that case, people will ask, when it comes to fake pilots, airlines hide behind the DGCA. When it comes to blind landings, the same airlines say the DGCA has got its entire interpretation of the rules wrong. And if that is the case, then why has the DGCA said that despite warnings to respect curfew hours, private airlines violated this directive and carried out blind landings in violation of air safety procedures? That's the question. You want to come in here
and
tonight?
Not only that, I am saying, at one level you are saying that, the flying schools are suspect. At another level you are saying that the DGCA, some of the officers are in collusion to get, all these fake pilot things going. The pilot, a lot of the pilot, or some of the pilots are certainly not, trained well, and they do not have the requisite experience and the flying hours. And then you combine this with other factors in an industry where you're supposed to be at 9 sigma level of security and safety.
Can I clarify? I'll just add.
Coming to you
right
having
heard 3 pilots here who've all defended that as if nothing has happened in Goa. If that is the case, why is DGCA warning the airlines? Why is DGCA hauling the pilots? Now, we all know in aviation industry, it's better to be safe than sorry, as Captain Wadia said a short while ago. DGCA issued the directions. For 4 consecutive days, landings continued during those prohibited hours. DGCA woke up at that time. ATC should have cautioned them on day 1 itself that there are flights landing during those prohibited hours for them to take action. No action got taken. Why is it that it's only after it comes out in the media that you start taking action and
this
then
is
don't
the second
put the facts
time,
in the right perspective?
Captain Minu Wadia, this is the second.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
And if these captains are correct, then what they are saying, then it was time that DGCA came out loud and clear for the traveling public to know that, look, everything is safe. Media is wrong.
Let everybody
but let them establish it.
This is the
Otherwise, the fear of flying would sink in one day and people say there's something fundamentally wrong with Indian aviation.
Captain Wadia, this is the second time in recent months that airlines have been caught violating norms while flying to Goa. And the report came out in the Times of India on the 7th. Despite that, for 3 more days, these landings happened. This shows a certain level of brazenness, isn't it? I mean, you may disagree with the law, but you
totally disagree. In fact, I will agree with you totally when all of you have said that safety is paramount, that any rule, any law by the DGCA must not and cannot be violated at all. If there's a violation, take the strictest action
So why
possible.
don't the airlines sue the DGCA then?
There is no violation.
No, why don't the airlines then sue the DGCA and say you have no business acting against our pilots? Or are the pilots being made the sacrificial lambs here?
1 second. Initially, the DGCA had given an advisory at no time that this is what is happening. The PAPI is not there. The glide slope is not there. Therefore, if it is within your minima, and that is why in the charts, landing charts, you have a circling minima. What is it meant for? It's if the visibility is good, if the weather is fine, you are capable of landing.
You're capable, sir. I think we are coming to one point here. Flying is about a sense of safety and security.
Yes.
The pilot may feel very, very confident. But the pilot's confidence is of no use if the passengers don't feel secure. And therefore, if there is I'm only saying it and I'm not taking a position, lest you misunderstand. But there has to be a litmus test of confidence. Eventually, that's a passenger who has to decide whether it's a fake pilot controversy or this. But I thank you all for presenting your different points of view on this tonight. The jury is still out. We'll ask the Civil Aviation Minister what he thinks. And I'm wrapping up only for want of time. Seeing you tomorrow, same time. Good night and goodbye.